welcome to a new vlog and video of the Cruise Vibes, and today we're gonna take a look at the first 2 days on board of the MS Maxima of nicko cruises. We are sailing from Passau to Vienna, and here on the map you can see our route today. We are starting in Passau, where I arrived by car, and during booking the cruise you could already book a parking lot at the Globus garage, which is the building you can see here. It's in the north of Passau, and from there you will be transferred with a futuristic bus like this to the docking location of your ship. It's very convenient and I can highly recommend it. Here we are at our beautiful MS Maxima. Now it's time for boarding. Here you can see my cabin. I had a double cabin with single occupation on the main deck, and it's important to note that the cabins will get refurbished this winter, so if you book a cruise on a Maxima your cabin will look differently. But this is the old style of the cabin and I think it's perfect. I really enjoyed staying at this cabin. I really liked my cabin, so didn't even think it would be necessary to renovate the cabins, but nevertheless they will get a more modern look in this season. We have a lot of storage space available, a big wardrobe, a lot of space, pretty good. Right next to it we have a desk which comes with a fridge and additional storage space, so there is a lot of space for all your belongings. Also, if you book a cruise which is 2 weeks long, you will have enough space. The highlight of the cabin is this big window, and I will tell you a bit more about the window later on. Then it was time for cake and coffee, and after that we left Passau heading for our first destination, which is Vienna. What I really like about the Maxima is that there are so many promenades, so even if the sun deck is closed there's always a space where you can watch the surrounding landscape. You can get out always very fast to take some pictures. For example, when you're sailing through this beautiful part of the Danube, which is called Donauleiten, but of course, as it was cold, spent most of the time inside. Here we are in the first lock, the lock of Jochenstein, and here you can see a ship next to us. It's the nicko Vision, another cruise ship of nicko cruises, and this ship is doing the same cruise like us, so we're going to see her multiple times. She's doing exactly the same itinerary. After going down about 10 meters, we're continuing now, sailing past the rock island Jochenstein, which we can see here, and now we're sailing past a few smaller cities and villages like Engelhartszell. It's a quite beautiful landscape we are going through. And here you can see the disadvantage of my cabin window. You will hear a bit more of the water as the window is right on the water line, but you will have much better views from your cabin than on other ships. Then it was time for the first welcome dinner. After a welcome cocktail we had some amazing food. As you can see, the food quality on board is pretty good, and I was really surprised by how good the food was, so I can highly recommend taking a cruise with the Maxima because the ship is beautiful and the food on board is also amazing. Here we are already in the next lock, of course, again with the nicko Vision, and this is filmed from my cabin window, and this great perspective you can only have on a ship like the Maxima with those big windows even on the main deck. And we can now see the cabin window on the main deck of the nicko Vision. As you can see, it's maximal half size, so you have much better view from a cabin on the Maxima than on the nicko Vision on the main deck, as the cabin window is just much bigger. And this is the big advantage of the Maxima. As I said, you will hear a bit more from the water, so this is the downside of it, but I personally think that's not a big deal. You will hear the water anyway, no matter how big your window is. You will just hear a bit more here on the Maxima, but on the other side you will have much better views, so I really like those big windows, and you can only find windows like this on the ships of this ship class. Here we just sailed past Linz, and on the next morning we woke shortly before Tulln on our way to Vienna. This is a part of the Danube that is not too spectacular, so it was a very nice, relaxing, calm morning with not that much to do, so a perfect time to read a book, or for me it was time to edit some videos on the laptop. Here we can see the ship Regentag, which belonged to the famous artist Friedensreich Hundertwasser, which is now docked here at Tulln as a museum. Here in Tulln there are some low bridges, but after passing the low bridges you could also access the sun deck, and here we can see once again the nicko Vision in front of us. Here we are reaching the last lock before Vienna, Lock Greifenstein, and of course we're going in together with the nicko Vision again. We're again docking next to her in the lock, as the locks on the Danube are always wide enough for 2 regular cruise ships next to each other. Here we can see the nicko Vision once again. It's a ship of Skilla, so a very typical river cruise ship and very different from our Maxima. We are now going to Vienna, sailing past Kloster Neuburg. Here we can see the monastery in the background, and then we are docking at Vienna Nussdorf. That's the only point where we have a different docking location from the nicko Vision. nicko Vision got a slightly better docking location at the Handelskay. We are docking at Nussdorf, which is a bit further away from the city center. But anyway, from both docking locations you need to take the public transport to go to the city center. From Nussdorf it just takes a bit longer. I will show you in a second how to get to the city center from Nussdorf. For lunch you can always choose if you either want to have a light lunch, self-service, or the served lunch in the restaurant. So now we left the ship and you have to go downstream and just always follow the water, and after about 5 to 10 minutes you will reach this underpass. You have to go through it, and right on the other side, after about 10 to 15 minutes walking in total, you will reach the tram stop. And then from there you can take the tram line D, which will bring you directly into the city center without changing. We then continued from the city center with the underground to Praterstern, and from there we went to the Wurstelprater, which is an amusement park in the city center of Vienna. The entrance is free, you don't have to pay to access the park, you pay for every attraction. So you can go there also if you don't like to go on roller coasters and attractions, just for the atmosphere. You can also take a ride on the famous Ferris wheel of Vienna, so there are a lot of things to do. I decided to go on a roller coaster and I just paid at the entrance of the roller coaster. And in general I was traveling with my grandma on this cruise, so the things we're doing on this whole trip are adapted to an older person which is using a rollator, but even with a person with a rollator you can visit the Prater, as you only need to pay if you want to do an attraction. What I would always recommend doing is visiting the Café Gerstner. As you can see, the building is just stunning. It's one of the most beautiful cafes I've ever visited, and it is located right next to the famous Café Sacher, and you can have a Sacher cake here as well. Difference is, on Café Sacher, as it is very famous and a tourist attraction, you have to wait outside until you get a free table, and here you usually don't have to wait at all, and if you have to wait, you can wait inside in this beautiful atmosphere. So I would always recommend going to Café Gerstner instead of Café Sacher. Just remember, when you go in Café Gerstner, take the elevator to the upper floor, and there you have this beautiful cafe. After that we went back to the ship with the line D of the tram, which is going for quite a long time on the so-called Vienna Ring, which is a beautiful street where you can see most of the sights of Vienna already from the tram window. We are also going past the Christkindlmarkt, the Christmas market of Vienna, but this would be too crowded for my grandma with a rollator, so we decided to not go there, and instead we headed back to the ship, where it's now already time for dinner. What's very important is that you always have to be able to climb a few stairs if you're traveling on a river cruise ship, as we were now docked in second row. There was no other possibilities than to walk the stairs up to the sun deck of the first ship and then go over to our ship and then walk down the stairs again. If that's not possible for you, I would not recommend doing a river cruise. After a fantastic dinner, once again, we spent the rest of the evening in the beautiful panoramic lounge, and that's it for the first 2 days on board of the Maxima. In the next video we will see day 3. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I would like to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.